The Premier League has charged Man City with more than 100 breaches of its financial rules following a 4-year investigation. It's referred the club to an independent commission over alleged rule breaches between 2009 and 2018. It also accused City of not cooperating since the investigation started in 2018. City said they were surprised by the charges and are supported by a body of irrefutable evidence. The commission can impose punishments ranging from a fine and points deduction to expulsion from the Premier League. I tweeted and I said, look, I think the Premier League here are going to do two things. One, nothing, because that's what they do sometimes. And two, they'll just impose a fine that won't even make City owners blink. Like what? Did we just pay 20 million? I don't even know. What's that for? Won't mean anything. Surely, Rory, and I guess we're going to have a wider discussion now about money in football because it makes me sick, but surely they need to make an example of Man City. This is alleged rule breaches for 9 seasons. 9. I mean, I don't know what City have won in those 9 seasons, but 4 Premier League titles minimum.
Yeah.
9 seasons.
Yes, I actually disagree with you. I understand where you're coming from with regard to your slight cynicism regarding the punishment.
Premier League,
yeah, I understand why you're there, but I see it the other way.
Go on.
I think this is going to be huge. This is like just the scale of
What's
this.
Huge?
I think if they're found guilty, it's very important to acknowledge that they're currently guilty of nothing.
Yeah, alleged.
Yeah, currently guilty of
but
nothing.
The Premier League wouldn't... I mean, this wouldn't come out. Like, the Premier League wouldn't force this into our face if they knew this wasn't rock solid. Again, we're using the word alleged because no one wants to get sued, right? We haven't got that much money. But let's be honest, this wouldn't all come out unless they knew that they're
I agree.
done for.
And also, the scale and seriousness of these charges. You know, it's so serious. It's dishonesty, it's fraud, it's concealment. This is serious stuff. And I think if they are found guilty, the only way that the Premier League can go on, the only way that it can be seen to be moving in the right direction is relegation. Like, I honestly believe, and I actually do believe that if they are found guilty, it will result in Manchester City being relegated.
Not docked points.
No, I think relegation. I think relegation because points are too easily accrued for Manchester City for the points to be a problem. Yeah. Like, you take 40 points off them and they don't go down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it means nothing for them points. Yeah, like what does 12 points mean for City?
Yeah, it means nothing.
Like,
it means they probably don't win the league, but they still make Europe. Yeah, like, it means nothing.
Still make top 4.
Yeah,
yeah, it means absolutely nothing.
It means nothing. And also, like, something has to be done here because what's happening is, I think even the football fans of the clubs who perhaps benefit from huge spending are wearing thin of it. Like, I think Chelsea, I'm a Chelsea fan. I think Chelsea are a very good example because rational spending went out the window at Stamford Bridge decades ago. I mean, rational spending went out of football recently, but any sort of semblance of rational spending went out of football at Chelsea a long time ago. I'm a little bit bored of it.
Dude,
I think it needs to be stunted.
Honestly, I hate it. Someone was talking about me with Liverpool the other day and like, oh, yeah, but, you know, Klopp needs 300 million. I was like, I prefer you don't have 300 million. I prefer you go out and find these bargains, like what Brighton are doing. And I want that, like we used to do with Andy Robertson for 7 million and Wijnaldum of Newcastle for cheap and bring them up, Mane, Salah. I hate this spending. I hate it.
Well, it's also, in my opinion anyway, it's slightly unjust. I know that the clubs in Europe, say, who benefit from the spending, I know that they do very well because financially they benefit. But if you look at, there's a good example here. If you look at PSV, Ruud van Nistelrooy was building something. He's doing very well. He was building. Suddenly, January hits. The Premier League clubs launch themselves into Europe, spraying their disgusting cash all over the place. And Ruud van Nistelrooy's team is a memory. Like, he was building a team with Madueke and with Cody Gakpo. Suddenly, both are gone. And he's left there. Okay, he's got some money. But that's not what he's doing. He's building something. And I think that it is getting just a little bit poison. When you see Forest spending more than Bayern Munich, you're just like, this isn't...
Like how? Yeah.
This isn't right.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't...
Bournemouth spent more than Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's just not right. And when you look at the spending of Premier League clubs and you compare it to other clubs in Europe, I think the Premier League spends more than the rest of Europe combined. I mean, I know it does.
No, easily.
So I think it's...
5 times, 10 times more. It's easy.
I think it's ridiculous. But if you look at what's going on with City, like, City have managed to generate more in revenue than some of the biggest clubs in the world. And obviously that's not right.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's obviously not real.
I saw something with Forbes the other day and I think City were either first or second in revenue generation. I was like, you're lying. There's no way. You're not Real Madrid. You're not Man United. You know what I mean? There's no way you can generate that money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've they've broken the rules on more than 100 occasions regarding sponsors and contracts across 9 seasons. Like, this is inflating their wages. This is how they can pay the big wages. This is how they can justify paying.
This is inflating your income to say, no, we this came in, so it's okay because we're still hitting FFP because we're giving that much. No, it's not.
Yeah.
You're cheating the system. And look, every club spends more than they really should. Like, if an accountant was to go into every club, no club's operating on profit in the Premier League. It's ridiculous if you think of the money that goes out on wages and et cetera, et cetera. But what City have done and what they've won in between 2009 and 2018, I'm with you. They need to be relegated. We've seen it with other clubs in the past. Juventus many moons ago. Rangers as well. Let's not forget that when Rangers went down. Like, you can't do this and get away with it.
No. Well, it would also set a terrible precedent. You know, if Man City were to, as you've suggested at the top of this segment, you were slightly cynical about the power that will come their way and the force and the might that they will feel. You were cynical. You don't think it will be. If you're right, and you may be, I disagree with you, but you may be. If it proves that you are correct, it ends football. It ends. It means everybody. It means suddenly Chelsea will generate, because there's this huge investment. Chelsea will suddenly generate as much as we possibly need to, and we will sign anybody that we need to, and we won't even have to go about pretending that the rules mean anything.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it has to, and the only way that it really matters, the only sanction that will affect Manchester City is being put in the Championship, being placed into the Championship. And if they're found guilty, that 100% should happen. And if they're found innocent, by the way, then these allegations and whoever's made these, we need to also acknowledge that Manchester City's name has been dirtied.
Oh, stop.
No, if.
I know you're playing the court of the law stuff here now, but let's be honest.
I think we have to, with these situations, and all situations really, the rule of law has to be respected and be final with regard to whatever we're talking about. What we can't do is allow somebody to be found innocent of something, or a club to be found innocent of something, and then we still tarnish them. I believe that if you're found innocent, it's very relevant, and we should adhere to that finding. And equally, if you're found guilty, then you go to the Championship with non-negotiable. By the way, not you go to the Championship, but on appeal, and you literally, the day that you're found guilty, you are placed at the end of that season. I don't care where you finish, you go into the Championship the following season, and an additional team come up.
Yeah, that's how it should be. When does this, we'll end on this one, when does it all stop, or does it ever stop? This, again, you talk about ludicrous amount of money spent in the Premier League. Every fan praying that their club gets taken over by a Saudi prince or someone from the Middle East that has more money than sense. Look, we're seeing immediate success with Newcastle, aren't we? Like, Newcastle, all of a sudden, could win their first trophy since 1950, whatever it is. Like, when does it stop?
I think it stops because people are suddenly... Do you know one of the best seasons? Obviously, Arsenal having a brilliant season.
Very quickly? I remember when Arsenal were when there was talks about Arsenal being sold, and there was the Spotify owner, and everyone Googled him, and he was worth $3 billion or something, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's not enough.
Not enough. Yeah,
not enough to take over Arsenal.
It's
worth $3 billion.
Do you know why? Do you know why I think people want it to change, and why I think it will? Is because there's one club in the Premier League, or who I think are a couple of clubs in the Premier League who I think are kind of like jewels in the crown at the moment. Like Chelsea are the opposite of this. Chelsea, clearly more money than sense. Brentford and Brighton, they're proving that you can do it correctly. They're proving that they have more sense than money, and more sense than money can lead to movement up the table. Yeah. But what this means for City, look, I think for football this could be a good day, but for City, I mean, this makes me pretty sure that Pep Guardiola will leave at the end of the season.
Yeah, fact, yeah.
And may even go so far as to help us understand... May even go so far as to help us understand Pep Guardiola's mood of late.
Yeah.
Maybe
agreed.
An insight into why
all of a sudden you started to see a bit, and you're like, well, 1 second, why are you upset? You're still through to the FA. Everything's fine. You're second in the league. Like, why? But I think now we know, because they know about this before it comes out. They'll put injunctions on it, etc. This is news has probably been in the background for about a month.
Years. I think this is years of investigation.
You're right. Yeah. This is 4-year investigation.
Years investigation.
A 4-year investigation.
And now it's come out, and you wouldn't let it come out if you weren't sure.
My fear is the Premier League love money. The Premier League bigwigs love money. If City say, "Yeah, look, we'll take a £50 million fine,"
they love their product. It undermines their product.
Good shout. City now part of that product. City now are a big part of the Premier League product. They're not a big team. I know what you mean.
But the whole point of the Football League, it's in its ethos. Do you remember the Super League debate?
Yeah.
The pyramid structure was everything.
Yeah.
Rules.
Yeah.
We are a stickler for the rules. As soon as you can break the rules and get away with it, the league has no product. It's over in the way that we know it. And therefore...
Is Monday Night Football on tonight?
No, I don't think there's a fixture. Therefore,
God.
though, I do believe... I think that something really heavy is. Do you remember the Super League about a year or two ago?
Did you see Martin Ziegler, who obviously wrote the article? We've got audio, but we don't have time to play it. But he wrote a follow-up tweet as well, saying City cannot appeal this.
Right.
Like they can't take this to the highest courts in Europe. It's done. There is no appeal. This is it.
Yeah.
Like, they've already done that.
Yeah.
This is it now. So big things
it's
are coming.
huge. And do you know
big things
what?
are gone, rude boy. Big things are gone.
I think we need this, though. I think football needs a seminal moment. We need a seminal moment in the game, and this could be it.